Hey guys, welcome back to this week's episode of Business at the Bar. Today I'm joined by Matt from Rarebird. Matt, quick introduction.
Matt Stewart. I am new to the industry. We've been open since 2017. We're a small batch gin distillery based in Malton in North Yorkshire.
Producing Rarebird Gin. So what flavours have we got to offer, Matt?
So this is a traditional London dry gin. In there you've got 11 botanicals, so you've got juniper berries, because obviously all gin has to have juniper in it, coriander seed, orange peel, lemon peel, hibiscus flower, cardamom, cinnamon, green peppercorns, elderberries, rosemary and orris root powder.
There's a lot in there that goes into it.
There is, absolutely.
And you also run gin schools as well?
We do, yeah.
Gin
so
courses.
you can come and make your own bottle of gin.
Yeah.
So you come and spend an afternoon with us.
We'll have to get ourselves
Yeah,
in
absolutely,
and get on the class.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's actually a lot that goes into the preparation, the production.
Absolutely, yeah.
And with the gin, is it all made in-house?
Yes, yeah. It's
all made
in-house.
Made in Malton?
Yeah, made in Malton, in the Talbot Yard.
Why gin?
Why gin?
Yeah,
right.
Obviously,
okay,
you love
so
it there?
yeah. So my background is nothing to do with this at all.
Yeah.
I spent 30 years in the fire service.
Right, so completely different.
So yeah, so I did 30 years in the fire service. Retired.
Yeah.
I needed
Retired
something.
early.
Well, yeah, I was lucky really. So I was on the old pension scheme. So that was I was fortunate in that respect.
Perfect.
And I was only 50 years old. I needed something to do.
Yeah, that's it.
Me being at home all day would have driven me mad.
Rotting on a sofa.
Yeah, it definitely driven my missus mad, me being home all the time. So I needed something to do. My younger brother's got a brewery down in London.
Right.
So he's got a company called Brick Brewery.
Oh, right, cool.
They're based in Peckham Rye.
Right.
So I sat talking to him one night.
Yeah.
What am I going to do when I retire? And he said, well, why don't I franchise the brewery up to you?
Right.
And I said, that's a great idea, just a couple of problems with that. Firstly, I like a beer, but
Yeah.
I'm not really into it. And secondly, at the time, there were hundreds of breweries, small, micro breweries.
Yeah.
And I said, thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
And then we finished up in City of London Gin.
Yeah.
And in there, they've got 2 stills, big copper stills, and I just thought I'd love to do something like that. And that's pretty much where the seed was. So.
Oh, that's cool.
So the business started life as an expensive hobby.
Started off in 2017.
Yes.
First of all, came to Malton. Whereabouts do you live at the minute?
I live in York.
Live in York.
Yeah,
So
I live in York.
Yeah.
I served all my fire service career in York City Centre.
Yeah. So why
yeah.
Malton then?
The reason I came to Malton was twofold, really.
Yeah.
Firstly, it had a good food and drink vibe about it.
Yeah.
It was a thriving place for small juicers.
Right, yeah. In the Talbot courtyard itself,
Yeah.
were you there before? Because there's a lot of cool businesses within that courtyard, isn't there?
No, we were the last ones in. We were the last ones in.
Extra perfect fit.
So Florian and I, it was a week before. He opened a week before me.
Right, yeah.
So that was in the October of 2017.
Right, yeah, it's perfect because you've got a lot of good. Within that.
It's a great little courtyard. Yeah. And we all try and work together, so we use each other's ingredients in different bits and pieces.
Right, Oh, that's cool. What do you use ingredients-wise?
Sometimes if I'm making, particularly in the gin school up above, so I will use Roost's coffee.
Yeah.
Florian next door.
Use coffee in.
You could put coffee in if you wanted to make a coffee flavoured gin.
In the gin school.
So basically, when it comes to botanicals, there's 3 rules.
Yeah.
Plant-based.
Yeah.
And natural, not poisonous, and legal.
Right.
So as long as the botanicals that you're using fall into those 3, or don't fall into, those categories, you can pretty much use it. So the list of botanicals is endless.
Right, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
I just thought it'd be a set kind of schedule that you do and recipe. But no.
So and Florian next door, he uses our gin in his gin and tonic macarons.
Yeah.
And the butcher Paul, when he gets some venison, he does venison and gin sausages. So.
Oh, you're down at the bottom.
So we all try and use each other's stuff.
Slidey pants. I know, I've got slidey pants on today.
In the development phase of this one in particular, up to 140 bottles of gin before I got it right.
Right, yeah. Lots of experimenting then.
Lots of experimenting. Some good nights, some long nights, some terrible nights.
Yeah, that's it. So, and you must really love the gin.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've always been a gin drinker.
Out of the range, what's your favourite?
The London Dry.
Where did that come from then? The London gin?
It's developed over the years. So gin actually isn't British or English.
Right,
It's
yeah.
actually Dutch.
All right, yeah.
And it was a great base spirit produced by the Dutch. They
Right.
put juniper berries in it. And the first gins were actually sold as medicines, basically.
Right.
So they'd be going from town to village in Holland.
Yeah. That's a good medicine, is that?
Yeah. Some people say it still is a medicine.
Yeah, that's it. It definitely is.
So then it came over to us in the UK, and
Yeah.
particularly into the port of London, and we started distilling, and that's just the style. So it's a style of gin. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
London gin. This is my favourite as well.
Yeah.
I do love the London.
Yeah.
Might even have a little one later on in the
why not?
episode.
Yeah,
We've got
that'd
to try it out.
Yeah,
It'd
it'd be rude not to, yeah,
Absolutely.
So,
That was
yeah, perfect, wasn't it?
So, Rarebird Distillery.
Yes.
Where did the name come from?
So my
One night stand?
No, not quite. My wife used to do HR
Right, yeah.
down in London.
Yeah.
So she was doing some recruiting for a French engineering company.
All right.
Okay, so they sent the French CEO over to do the interviews with
Yeah.
them. They start the interviews. It was the usual format. A guy comes in, sits down, they do the interviews, he walks off. And my missus says, he seemed all right, what about him? And this Frenchman, being French, just went, no.
Right.
And she thought, gosh, is that the feedback I'm getting today? So this carried on all through the day.
Yeah.
Eventually a guy comes in, sits down, they do the interviews, he walks out. She says, what about him then? And he said, yes, this is the man I would like to employ. He's how we say in France, a oiseau.
Right.
And she said, a oiseau, what's that? He said, in France it's a term that we use to describe somebody or something as unique or out of the ordinary or almost one in a million.
Yeah.
So that's where the name Rarebird comes from. We also wanted to keep ourselves transportable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you will get gins after a town or a place.
Yeah.
And me personally, I just felt that by tying yourself to a place, you are tied to that place.
Yeah.
You can't lift it up. One that always plays on my mind is, if you say your Yorkshire gin,
Yeah.
is it going to travel to Lancashire?
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yes, yeah.
So that
absolutely.
was we wanted to keep it as neutral as we could, so that you could pick it up and put it anywhere.
And you can brand it on anything as well, like as you do.
Yeah,
You've
we
got a
do.
range of
Yeah, we've
products,
got all
haven't you?
sorts of stuff, all sorts of merch. Yeah. So
Talk us through the merch. What have you got?
So we do our own candles.
Yeah.
We do diffusers. We've got glassware. We've got some beer coasters and things like that. So yeah. Jam, jam.
absolutely,
Yeah,
have to
forgot
try
about the
that,
jam.
but,
Yeah,
yeah, that's it.
No, we have a lady that comes in, jam lass, and she makes our jams for us. So
Right.
she makes us a raspberry jam,
Yeah.
a blueberry jam,
Yeah.
and she makes the most amazing marmalade.
Right. And that is with.
and it's all got our gin in it.
Is
yeah.
it which gins are used? Is
The
it
London
just
Dry.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's the London Dry goes in that.
That's interesting, that,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Definitely need to try that.
Well, they do say there's less calories in a gin and tonic
That's it.
than a
That's
banana.
why I've turned to it.
than
yeah.
a banana.
Is it really?
Yeah, apparently so, yeah.
That's it. And what tonic do you recommend?
So this
With
one,
with
the London Dry, just a light tonic, so
Yeah.
a slimline tonic.
Yeah,
Reason for that is they generally have less flavour and less sugar in them.
Right.
So you're paying a lot for your, particularly small batch gins, anywhere between £35 and £45 a bottle.
Right.
You don't want to drown it with a tonic.
No.
You want to be able to taste the flavours in there.
Yeah,
So a smallish bottle of tonic water will generally do me 2 double gin and tonics.
Right, yeah, that's it. Yeah, because I always get lost with measures, you know, when you're
Yeah.
making them, and I guess a lot of people do as well.
I mean, most of the time, if you take a bottle of this home, your home measures anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
which is
that's it,
fatal.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
it.
which is fatal.
Yeah, I recently, it was a Friday night, just got back, I've cut out alcohol through the week.
Right.
And then,
Why?
exactly, yeah, to lose weight, that was it. I started the gym, and then it was cutting back on alcohol through the week,
Yeah.
but I love wine, I love gin, whiskies.
yeah.
So on a night, only a couple, but you
Yeah,
know, it'd be
yeah.
computer
Yeah.
out, doing a bit of work,
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a gin, have a beer. So it was just putting on weight and not,
Yeah.
you know, just sat on the sofa doing
Yeah.
nothing apart from that. So cut back on the alcohol through the week, and then
Yeah.
on the weekend, I really look forward to
And
it.
then you cane it.
And I absolutely can it, yeah. For the past 3 weeks, I've had a hangover on a Sunday.
I mean, that was one of the things when we were developing the business was we'd done all this flavour profiles and recipes and different bottles of gin. And
Yeah.
we were about to go to full production, and then we realised the one thing we hadn't checked was to make sure it worked as a measure.
Right.
Because when we were sampling them, we were
Yeah.
just pouring home measures.
Yeah, that's
But
it,
of course
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't if you're going out to a bar or a hotel, they're going to measure it.
Yeah.
So we just had to make sure that it worked as a measure, a single and a double. And we just had to tweak the recipe ever so slightly,
right? Yeah.
Just to make sure it worked properly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because I guess a lot of bars are going to strip back. You know, they've got a bottle on the shelf.
Yeah.
They're going to be definitely not home measures or half measures.
No, absolutely not. No.
You've come from the fire industry into the gin industry. Have you learnt a lot in the process?
Big steep learning curve, definitely.
Yeah.
So from being a public sector worker, where everything's, you're not worried about budgets, nothing like that.
That's it.
At my level, to coming into setting a small business up, peaks and troughs of running a small business.
Yeah. That's it. What's your highs?
Highs are actually getting it out there.
Yeah.
Getting it into Michelin star restaurants. Yeah. Just the feedback from people.
Yeah.
You know.
So I can imagine like walking around the city and you see your gin on the shelf in a bar. Can I imagine that feeling is very rewarding.
Oh yeah.
It's the same, you know, when I'm working with brands and things like that, and I go around certain cities, and I'm like, brand recognition. I've seen that bar,
absolutely.
they're doing that coffee, they're doing that gin, and it must be.
And it's
rewarding.
the hardest part is getting out there and getting seen.
And in terms of marketing, obviously you've done a lot of events and things like that, and market stalls, Christmas stalls, things like that. In terms of the digital aspect, what have you? Instagram, Facebook.
Instagram,
TikTok.
Facebook, not TikTok yet. I'm hoping that somebody will show me how to do that.
Yeah,
Ben.
we can.
But we find Instagram a really good tool. We've done the written word.
Yeah.
Magazines, brochures. Yes, when we first started, they were useful.
Yeah.
Now they're not so useful. I think to some degree the written word is not the way.
Have you seen kind of a turntable effect of how times have changed?
I mean, we did some advertising once. It cost us £1,800. We put a discount code on, so that's the only way you can sort of quantify what you're getting back for your money.
Yeah.
Paid £1,800 and we had 5 orders from it.
Really?
And that's the last time we did it.
There's so much more you can put that 1,800 quid into returning more.
Absolutely, I mean, we've had the Instagram pretty much right from the beginning. I think we've done the right things. I think we've, you know, the temptation would be, or was, to expand quickly. Yeah. But then you just finish up with a whole raft of other problems, but more expensive problems. Yeah. So,
is the gin world as well? There's that many competition.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely plateaued off. And it's a tough market when it comes to a bottle of gin. Yeah. Or any spirit. It all depends on the ABV as to how much duty you pay on it. Right. Okay. So one thing I get asked quite a lot is how come you can get a bottle of Gordon's gin in the supermarkets for £20 a litre. Yeah. Okay. And yet my gin is best part of 40 quid. Yeah. Okay. So few reasons. Firstly, you scale. So Gordon's are making 10 million bottles of gin a day. They're making 50 pence profit. They're still making £5 million. Yeah. Okay, so it's scale, economics of scale. Yeah. With my gin, I make 300 bottles, at a time. Yeah. I don't have the clientele that Gordon's do. This is something I think a lot of people don't appreciate when it comes to small batch. Yeah. Okay. I pay the same duty rate as Gordon's. Right. Okay? Yeah. So whatever it costs Gordon's to do, I would pay the same. Yeah. At the moment, a bottle of my spirit, the duty on that bottle is £11.14. Is it? Wow. Yeah. Which is extortionate, isn't it? Yeah, £11.14. But that's then just because it's alcohol? Yeah. Yeah. And that's the duty rate at 42%. Is it? And then, of course, on that bottle, you've got VAT at 20%. So you're looking at roughly, of that £40, £20 of it is tax. Yeah. Staffing, overheads. Yeah. It all. Yeah, it does. It all adds up. Yeah. It all adds up. The margins are really slim as a producer. Yeah. But then I think that's the same across the board. Yeah. You know, if you're farming, it's the same. And people see that figure, don't they? And they just think you're getting that in your back pocket. That's your profit. Exactly. And that's why there's so many. That's why there's so many small batch gin distilleries around. Yeah. Is because people look at it and think 40 quid a bottle. there must be loads of money in that.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's only when you get into it that you realise, actually, most of it's tax.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. You know, there's not that many people that can wake up in the morning and go do something that they love. You know, it's not just a typical 9 to 5 job. It's your passion, it's your brand.
And particularly from where I came from in the fire service, the fire service was always disaster, death.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's none of that now.
Yeah, that's it.
And I don't work shifts.
No.
And
you miss it?
No.
No.
You don't, it was a part of my life that I did.
Yeah.
Yes, it's served me very well. Yes, it's enabled me to do other things post.
Yeah. Do you think if you didn't do that and have the early retirement that you would do?
I probably wouldn't have done
that's
that.
It, yeah.
I'd still have to work till I was 67.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All the downside to running a small business, yes, the sleepless nights, the worrying about cash flow is awful.
Yeah.
But being your own boss to some degree compensates on that, because there's nothing better than being your own
freedom,
boss. It is, yeah.
That's it. So Matt, what we'll do is we'll end. Obviously, we've got a gin.
Yes.
I've finished my coffee. You've had your coffee.
I have.
You've had enough of this stuff.
I have, and I'm driving, so
and you're driving
today. So, but you're more than welcome to.
I'm going to finish off with this little gem that we prepared earlier. I will say thank you very much.
I know this is empty,
but cheers and thank you very much for
it's been a pleasure.
coming on the podcast.
Absolute pleasure.
I've learnt a lot about gin.